What would be most useful for you in this conversation?
Um, well, my personal statement is over 2 pages, so getting it condensed into 2 pages.
Sure, we can definitely work on that. I think that's at this point you have the makings of a good personal statement, but of course, got to be 2 pages. Got to make it jam packed with useful information, no filler. So, did you see anything in this statement as being disconnected from the core, something that wasn't truly necessary?
Um, I feel like the ending when I wrote about me being in the Red Hook Youth Corps and like talking about why I specifically want to go to NYU, like those are true, but I feel like they didn't come as easily as the other part of my personal statement. So I feel like they're not as strong as the other parts. But I didn't really know like what if I should add that or like because I've had other people look at it and they were saying that I should add more about myself because I talked a lot about my brother and not about me personally. So that's why I tried to add the youth court bit, but I don't really know if I add it, I have to take something else out.
What I would say then is have it on but in passing as one sentence. That's it. Or even part of a sentence where you mention it briefly, but that's it.
Okay.
And I think that will help you cut down your statement automatically, of course.
Mhm.
The other thing that stood out to me was the very beginning, the anecdote about the Doritos.
Mhm.
To me, that it was funny, it was interesting, but it wasn't directly tied enough to the story about your brother.
Okay.
So I think I just saw it as being kind of disconnected, to be honest.
Mhm. I don't know what to make my introduction.
Well, if you remove it, then that's helping cut down your personal statement.
Mhm.
And if we cut out some of the bit about the youth court, that also helps to cut it down. What that leaves is the story about your brother, but we've got to tie it more directly to you.
Yeah.
That's what I think is missing here. So, is there anything that comes to mind you can share about your involvement in his ordeals?
Um, well, like I would go to court with them and I had to write a letter to the judge because my mom wanted them to release him to my mom's care as a foster parent instead of them releasing him to a group home because he didn't like the group home. So that's it.
Okay. And I'm not sure did you mention that you wrote the letter?
No, I didn't talk about that.
So that's something I would include.
Okay. I don't feel like I don't know how I don't know how I can't talk. Like okay, so if I include that I like wrote the letter and stuff like that, I feel like how does that because I don't really want this. Okay, the story's about my brother, but like, I just want to show like this happened, which is why I'm passionate about doing like juvenile justice, not necessarily like telling them um, I guess chronology of events.
I agree. It's not about just sharing a chronology from beginning to end. It's about how you were impacted throughout your life up to this point because of what happened to your brother and how that exposure to his situation, how it impacted you personally, and then in terms of your motivations moving forward.
Hmm. Okay, so if I so I will start. So my introduction will be about my brother then, and take out the whole like Doritos and stuff out.
Well, you could remove the Doritos story and replace it with something else towards the beginning. You could start with that moment in court that one time, or talking about while you're writing that letter to the judge. So I think you do want to have a different hook. I don't think you want to just jump in with paragraph number two.
Okay. Okay. So talk. Okay. Cool. So should I include like the NYU at the bottom or like just scrap that out altogether? Like I don't have to put that.
I would remove that. That's another thing I would cut actually, because you don't need to tell them why they're great. They already know that. If you want to mention like reasons you want to go there, you could talk about things unique about them that appeal to you, things
Mhm.
that you would want to be a part of. But I don't even think you need to mention that directly, because of course I assume you're applying to more than one school. Your
Mhm.
other essays will not mention NYU, they'll mention other schools.
Mhm.
Or you can even, some schools give you space to say why their school specifically, and that could be a place to include this.
Okay. And also, okay, so introduction, I'll change it and talk about like me writing a letter to the judge, and then continue with the like a bit about my brother and stuff, and then how would I incorporate more of myself into it, I guess, since I'm not addressing the youth court?
Yeah, so it's not about listing things you've done that would fit on a resume. I think it comes back to just how you've been personally impacted over the course of your life because of what's happened to him and different interactions you've had with his journey in the justice system along the way.
Mhm.
And you can still mention the youth court briefly in passing. I just wouldn't go into too much detail about it specifically.
Okay, and so do you feel like right now I wrote a lot about myself, or there's still some things lacking?
I think you've done a good job. I think there's always room to do more,
Okay.
especially when you talk about how you witnessed a reversal in his attitude, for example. Like you're noticing things, you're observing things. And you could mention how your experience in the youth court was impacted by your knowledge of him on a personal level.
Hmm. Okay.
So you could take you could, in a way, you could take the personal and the youth court experience and relate them to each other back and forth.
Okay. Okay. So after I edit, we look at it again.
Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to.
Great. Okay. Well, that's it.
My pleasure. Any other questions for today?
Nope. I'm good.
Okay. Well, what would you say is the biggest insight you got from our call today?
Um, Changing my introduction and taking out the YNYU. So I feel like I wrote my introduction like 3 in the morning. I was like, oh, this sounds good, like Doritos. And but the YNYU, because the problem is I'm applying really late because I'm taking my LSAT in January. So somebody suggested that I put that, so because since I missed like the whole early action part, but I felt like while I was writing it, I just felt like I wasn't really saying anything of substance. I felt like I was really feeling very forced. So I just didn't really know what to do about that part. But like, I'm happy I could cut it out because like it just sounds like fluff, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But it sounds like you have a clear direction moving forward. So I'm glad I was able to help. Please reach out if you need anything moving forward. And of course, I'll be happy to look at another draft.
Okay, thank you so much.
My pleasure, Keita. Have a good one. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.